Hey everybody, today I had a great opportunity to sit down here with a bunch of CellMates. We talked about transitioning veterans. We talked about clients needing help like that. We talked about our 2024 strategic goals for Fusion Cell. This is how we're gonna win this year. Take a look. Jack Hosterman, former United States Air Force officer, 6 years?
6 years.
And what was your job?
I was a missile combat crew commander in ICBM's Minuteman II.
All right, awesome. And then you have been with us for 9 months.
That's correct.
And what's your role?
So I'm the director of the manufacturing division.
All right.
I do the business development.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit more about that particular position. What's the manufacturing division?
Military veterans are really uniquely qualified to transition into manufacturing roles in the civilian world. And over almost 20 years of doing this work, we've discovered that there's a strong affinity for veterans in manufacturing. So my job is to identify companies that are looking for the kind of people that we work with and can deliver, and making them aware of us as a resource for their talent acquisition.
That's right, that's right. Why do you think military professionals are best suited to go into these roles?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts on that question, but...
Take your time, we're in zero rush here.
Yeah, so the military is, first of all, the military is kind of at the forefront of technical change. To be successful in the military, you have to be very adaptable. The next best thing's coming down the pipe. You have to learn how to use it and have to use it intelligently. So military veterans tend to be very adaptable, and they're also very resilient. They are comfortable in high change environments, particularly what many people would consider difficult, challenging environments. So they bring that attitude into the civilian workplace. And if you've ever heard somebody say, hey, if nobody's shooting at me, it's a good day, that's the kind of attitude that veterans bring to the workplace. So they bring that from the beginning, and then they have all of these intangible skill sets that manufacturers in particular, but really all employers want, and they don't find it in great supply in non-military candidates. Things like work ethic, discipline, communication skills, leadership skills. I like to say veterans own the job and make rapid and accurate decisions in their DNA. And all of those things make you a better manufacturing company. So it's a good fit.
Oh, that sounds great. So speaking a little bit more about the manufacturing division, can you talk a little bit more about the different type and the variety of jobs that would fall underneath that vertical?
Sure. Most military veterans are, if not technically educated, they work in a very technical environment. So engineering, operations, logistics, every kind of maintenance, from the maintenance management to the maintenance technicians, all the skills position and craftsman position, sales,
supply chain management,
transportation. There are a lot of really accessible analog roles in the civilian job description that fit what a lot of our folks do in the military. And then there's a bunch that the military does that are good fits and the civilians don't know them. And that's part of my job, is to evangelize them or educate them on why some of our transitioning veterans are perfect fits for the jobs they have.
That's right. So Jack, how long you been in staffing now?
20 years.
20 years.
20 years and a couple of months.
So I know you have placed tons of folks. Why the military professionals are best suited for that particular vertical that we are running after. But why don't you tell me a little bit more in depth on why military professionals are qualified to lead teams and projects outside of the military sector?
So that's a really good question. It gets right to the heart of what I would say is our stock in trade. Leadership is something that has to be grown and cultivated. As an example, a brand spanking new second lieutenant is 22, 23 years old, and he will be dropped into a military unit where he has no experience but has rank, and he's responsible for getting the task done. And so he has to learn how to cultivate a constructive working relationship with his senior non-commissioned officers, men and women who have been there for a long time, since he was in junior high school or elementary school. They know the work, but the responsibility lies on the officer. So he has to learn how to navigate in a situation where the people that report to him are far more experienced. And so when we bring a candidate to a client after 4 years or more from the officer corps, they will have demonstrated that they know how to do that, and they will have succeeded in that. They know how to motivate people, they know how to communicate with them, they know how to discipline people, they know how to align the wagon in the right direction. So they bring all of that experience in at a very young age. When I was 26 years old, I'd been responsible for nuclear weapons for 4 years. Some 26-year-olds, in the non-military melting pot are still living at home, and mom and dad are still buying their cell phone bills. So it's a huge difference. I mean, what you get from a military officer is 4 years of very intense experience. On the NCO side, you can get 4 to 20 years of leadership experience managing hundreds of people. And again, they're doing it at an earlier age than the civilian world is normally going to entrust its leaders. So if you're trying to build your leadership bench, if you're trying to anticipate the growth of your company over a long period of time, you just can't get better feedstock than people that are proven in the military as leaders. They bring all of those intangibles. They have an incredible ability to adapt. They're going to learn faster. They're going to continually be trying to improve themselves so that they can improve the people around them. It's a good combination.
That's perfect. Couldn't agree more. Jack, how about your time in staffing industry? You spent 20 years in staffing, right?
Right.
Give me an example or two of how you met somebody, conducted an interview with them, placed them into an organization, and talk to me a little bit about their success further. One of your favorite ones, because I know you've got hundreds of those.
Yeah, actually it's one of the real joys of this job is you get to follow the superstars that you placed, and they tend to come back around and hire their replacement from you. And a couple of examples. One of my biggest clients, I probably placed 75 people there over 7 years. When they transitioned away from their business and quit working with me, I had like 4 genealogical chains. This person hired this person, who hired that person, who hired a great-grandchild. And so that was obviously proof of concept. You could see that they liked what they were getting, and they authorized their folks to go out and get more. One of those individuals was on a recent call with a client, and I was not told who all was going to be on the call, and before my contact came on, there were 6 or 7 people on the call, and one of them he wasn't visible. He was doing it from his car, but I saw his name, and I won't tell you his name, but I recognized it, and I knew that the client was a corporate spinoff from where I placed him. And so when they introduced him to me, I said, "Hey, that guy owes me money." And he said, "Hey, Jack, how you doing?"
That's
right. And so he is now a senior division manager. This is about 12 years later, but when I placed him, he was in a leadership development program. So he's absolute, concept proof that what we do bears fruit, and the companies that embrace that will find it's money well spent.
That's awesome. That's a great example, Jack. Thanks. One more, Jack. Last one. What is most special and dear to your heart about Fusion Cell?
Well, I love my job. I've said this a number of times in different venues, but I feel like anybody who can make their vocation and their avocation the same thing, the thing that they have to do and the thing that they like to do, if that's the same thing, then you're much blessed. And that describes the way I feel about my work. I get to sell people that I value, people whose sacrifice I want to honor. I get to promote them into a community that wants to support them, and I help those parties come together, fall in love, and hopefully get invited to the wedding.
That's right.
But every day I get up, I love to come to work.
That's awesome.
That's what I love about Fusion
Well,
Cell.
we all love your passion and enthusiasm, so that's awesome. Anything else we want to talk about, Jack? You feel like we're missing anything, or that's good? I know you wrote some notes. Anything you want to cover?
There's just the rate of change in the manufacturing world. It's been Everybody's been noting it for a long time, but the gap between the skills required to run it and what the workforce can deliver up, that gap, it just continues to grow. It's not a luxury now to hire people that are more adaptable and learn quicker. It's a necessity. You can't just continue to hire talent the same way you used to, because the lag is greater and greater. And pretty soon you won't be able to run your manufacturing concerns because the people there aren't equal to it. So that's one of the reasons why I tell people they should hire veterans. That's part of the veteran DNA.
That's why some of these companies should come to us, right? So we can help them.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.